Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. How Coast to Coast AM used to say it, or maybe he still does. I don't know if George Norrie still does the show. Um, so I had a couple of dreams that were noteworthy. Noteworthy enough to where I felt that it was noteworthy enough to make a video on. So, dream 2 nights ago was interesting. First of all, I've had a lot of dreams about tsunamis. A lot. Too many to count. And usually I'm standing in front of one and I'm looking at it as it comes in and sweeps me away. Other times I would be on a highway driving and I would see it. Other times I would be inside a building and I would like run up the stairs as the water rushes in. This time it felt far more specific. I was at my local beach, and my closest beach here, we have a large saltwater lagoon, a mixture of saltwater and freshwater, called Buddy Quitos, and it's a really massive lagoon. And there's a beach to the west of it, and I was standing at a elevated focal point in an area that I do know that actually exists here now. And I felt an earthquake, a large earthquake, and it felt like it was lasting for an eternity. It just kept going and going and going, and then it was like this. It was like this strange calm. Like after that, it was just like really quiet. And then I saw people on the roads and on like in cars and walking on the road that's next to the beach here. And I saw the waves just suddenly come in, like out of the blue, like without any warning, like it was just real quiet for a short time, and then they came in, and it wasn't like ridiculously tall, like probably something similar to the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, maybe a little bit taller, like 60, 70 foot tall waves. And I just saw people like panicking, being swept away, and I saw the wave crest over the highway from the ocean into the lagoon, and it kind of, I don't know what the right term is, of like inundated the lagoon, I suppose, and it created this massive ripple as it crested over the highway and into the lagoon, and it just spread out from there. And I remember it was really kind of very foggy and cloudy that day, and it was very rainy, and uh, interesting. We're supposed to have a large earthquake here eventually. It's inevitable. Just thought it was interesting that it was kind of in conjunct with a tsunami as well. So that was that dream. The dream I had last night was very peculiar because it has to do with two dead relatives of mine. Which, to be fair, I've been thinking about recently, kind of discussing them with my friends for a particular reason, because one of them is my stepdad, who died all the way back in 2006. And he has a whole story on his own that I would have to make an entire video on because of how incredibly strange some of the circumstances were when we lived with him, and certain events that happened that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. And he would tell us all kinds of stories that were really out there. He had a very strange family that had very strange jobs. He was a very interesting person. We had a sailboat and we'd sail it around. with him, and he was nice. I mean, but there's a lot of mysterious stuff about him to this day. We don't really know who he is. Like, even talking to his daughters that we've met in person after his death, there's a large mystery behind my stepdad. His name was, well, I'm not gonna say his name, but I'm still debating whether or not to make a video on him because I don't. He's passed on now, and I don't want to be disrespectful or say something wrong. I just want to kind of leave the dead alone, so to speak, and let them carry on. But if I'm compelled to make a video on him, I will. So I was in some city and I was driving down a road, and I was like looking at an ambulance, and it was like an old, like 1960s style, kind of like one of those weird hatchback type of ambulances. And I was following it and following it. I was like following it in a frantic way, and I kept going and going and going, and it finally stopped and went into a building. Well, they got this patient out that was in the back, and they took him out and they brought him inside this two-story building, and I followed them in there, and as I followed them in there, um, I observed the person on the bed, and this is when things got very strange. I looked at the person on the bed, and they were changing and morphing depending on what position you were observing them at. And they were changing from my stepdad to my grandpa. And they were becoming, and it's like, but they were alive, but they weren't. They were animated, and it was very strange. It's very strange. Um, I gotta go though. I have some family return though, but I'm gonna think about those ones. Bye.